What's going on, people? It's Mr. Back again with the Monday Madness show. I hope everyone's fit and well. Yes, let's do a roundup of Forest's fantastic point on Saturday and the game on Saturday against Arsenal. If you're new to the channel, please do hit the like button, subscribe if you know, and comment below. How are you feeling? Do you think Forest will survive? Only time will tell. I've got the big guns on. I'll start with a small gun. I'll start with Malcolm. He's a small one. How you doing, Malcolm?
All right, Ben, how are you?
I feel great. I feel a little bit sick because, as you know, Leicester are playing Liverpool. So one eye on that game. But
did you cheer the Liverpool goals?
I would never do that. I will never do that. I'll never do that. Next up, we've got the next man, Dave. How you doing, Dave?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you, Ben. Good to see Kevin again, one of my favourite Sky pundits, and hoping Malcolm doesn't suffer from gun envy, because if he's the small gun, what am I? I hate to think.
And last but not least, Dave has already given the man his intro, the man, the legend, Kevin Campbell. How you doing, Casey?
Mr. Door, Coach, Malcolm, Dave, how you doing, guys? You Reds and all that? I'm good. I'm great. I'm great.
We're feeling great, Kev. I think we've got a lot to talk about, people. We've got a lot to talk about. 2 games to go, and we're out of relegation zone. But like I said, we've got the big man here on Kev on to talk about Forest and up and coming games as well. People in the comments, if you want to ask Kevin, Dave, or Malcolm any questions, please do. Before we do, let's go through the comments as well. To start with, this is Mohammed. We can survive. Leicester losing to Liverpool and Arsenal lost to Brighton. My score prediction Saturday is Forest 1, Arsenal 0. This will be directing the balloon. Come on, you Reds. Eddie says, my score prediction is Nottingham Forest, Arsenal 0. Bloody hell, everyone's going confident on this one. But that's next show. Razdaz, evening, guys. We can nick a 1-0 with Gunners on Saturday. We are the Premier League. Razdaz.
Fame emerging here.
I'm loving that.
Hey, listen. Do you know what? I absolutely love the confidence, because you need the confidence to stay up. You do. You need confidence. And you know what? Going to Chelsea, you went down to Chelsea. You saw this Chelsea set up for Champions League, isn't it? You go down there, you see the hotel, and you see everything, the playing surface, and but I thought Forest done absolutely. It's the only point I got all weekend, by the way. So I'm claiming a point with Forest. But just like anything, guys, you know, when the big teams get beat, they have to respond.
Yeah.
And Arsenal, we were taken to the cleaners by Brighton in the second half, and it wasn't an Arsenal performance, and I'm sure Mikel Arteta is going to crack that whip. So it's going to be a tough game. Listen, you might win it 1-0, but I expect to see a better response from Arsenal than they played against Brighton. So it won't be quite like a deflated balloon. I've got to say that. It's going to be a really tough game, because you know, if you win, you stay up. That's it. But I've said it to you before, and I'll say it again. It's going to go to the last game.
No, stop it, Kev, man. Don't do this today. Because I keep saying this. Like, shout out to Amanda. I said to her, give me a defibrillator. I will need one for Christmas because I can't. At Chelsea, I couldn't cope for the last 5 minutes. Even Southampton, I couldn't cope for the last 5 minutes.
Go on,
I was like that. I was like, but it is what it is. Let's go through the before we do talk about the Chelsea game. This is the good evening, Door, Kevin, Dave, and Malcolm. Hope you're well. On Wednesday, it will be the whole year since I met Malcolm and Dave. I'm drawing some pictures for while I'm watching and listening. If you join Malcolm, make sure he's got a new quiff, he's got a new afro, so make sure you do for Malcolm. Right, let's talk. Kev, right, your view on Forest's season so far. We're out relegation for now. What's your view on it?
Listen, I said this to you at the start of the season, if you remember. Give me 17th for Forest come the last day. You survived, and all of a sudden you've got the platform to build again. I know there's been times where you've been in a better position, but you know the Premier League's brutal. You have a strong run of results, and then all of a sudden You lose one, you draw a couple, and people have caught you up. You know, we've even seen Southampton, who were bottom, go to Chelsea and win. They went to Man United and drew. They go to the Emirates and drew. This is the type of league it is. Everyone could beat everybody. So are Forest where I expected them to be? Probably they're in and around where I expected them to be. If Forest had 3 more points, I'd be a lot happier. But yeah, I still believe Forest will stay up because I think there are 3 worse teams in the league that won't get the job done. So I do believe Forest will stay up.
As you know, Dave and Malcolm, they went to the Chelsea game. Dave, what was your thoughts? Like, we've had 2 days to think about it, Dave. Make it short, Dave. I know you're not doing a lot. Dave, what was your thoughts, Dave? After the game, I was a little bit disappointed with it, but a point away from home, you can't complain, can you?
Well, I think the 3 of us, plus Ali in the car on Saturdays, we came away from Stamford Bridge. I think we were a little conflicted in that, you know, if somebody said, right, we'll give you a point at Stamford Bridge before you get there, we'd all have said, in all likelihood, yeah, we'll take that. And, you know, having been 2-1 down, yeah, we'll take that. But I think it was really illustrative that when Steve came out for his post-match, he exuded a little sense of disappointment. And I think he was speaking on behalf of the lads, that they felt that they could have actually got a little bit more. I think I heard a point made today, and I think it's a valid one, that we may not get a better chance to beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, because the certainty, I believe, is that when Pochettino comes in next season, they will be a far better side. They'll be more cohesive. I think they'll be more driven. I just thought they were lethargic. I thought they were bland. I mean, it's a great stadium, but the atmosphere was pretty flat. 3,000 Trickies dominated, 35,000 Blues. In many respects, you know, it felt like a home game for Forest, and they were excellent first half, and then they withstood a little bit of a surge from Chelsea in the second half. And let's be honest, Raheem Sterling was excellent, and there were some good lads for Chelsea. I thought young Lewis Hall had a good game. It must have been difficult for him. So I think the value of the point won't become apparent until 6:30 on Sunday, May the 28th. Then we'll see how good that point is, I think, Ben, to be honest.
Malcolm, do you echo what Dave says?
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good game on Saturday. I mean, we went there. I said to you before the game, I'll be happy with a draw. I thought it'd be 1-1.
Yeah.
But we had some good chances, and it was disappointing because the first half, Chelsea weren't good. They looked disorganised. They didn't look like they knew what the manager wanted them to do. They didn't look like they're playing for the manager. Raheem Sterling had a really good game, and Joe Worrell made the tackle of the season for me.
Absolutely.
In the first half. I mean, he's been lambasted this season. I love Joe.
Yeah.
You know, he's one of our own. He's a good lad. Not the quickest, but my goodness, he got back there against Raheem Sterling and blocked that. He's probably saved us there. Yeah. He's gained us a point there. So, you know, it's a big result for us, that point. I'm still disappointed from the previous away game.
Yeah.
We flogged that
Me
game.
too.
And I think the Chelsea game, we played, we built on the Brentford game, and we probably played some really good football, probably the best away performance of the season. And I was a bit disappointed we didn't come away 3 points. But realistically, you get a point at Stamford Bridge, you're going to be happy with that.
Kevin, I'd like to ask you a question, right? Like, as you know, Chelsea, they're not being great. They still haven't won at home under Frank Lampard. Do you think Forest should have took advantage of getting the 3 points? Because what we and Malcolm and Dave witnessed, the first half, Chelsea wasn't great. I think it's either we were good or they were rubbish. And I know away from is not being good. Yeah.
Maybe it was a bit of both, because Chelsea have been disjointed, haven't they? Let's be honest. Chelsea haven't been their selves, but can't take anything away from Nottingham Forest going there and playing them and scoring first, getting your noses in front, being organised, making life difficult for them where they can't break you down. But one thing they have individuals who can turn a game on his head.
Yeah.
That's one thing they do have. And in Raheem Sterling, we know, listen, he's a multi-Premier League winner. He's an England international. If he gets going, he's hard to stop a lot of the time. And he comes up with 2 finishes or whatever. And all of a sudden, from 1-0 up and you're kind of cruising in comfortable mode, all of a sudden, you've got to go into attack mode again because he's come up with 2 second-half goals. But Forest done it. You know, one year goes in there and gets another goal, 2 goals on the day. And then you think to yourself, and here's the dangerous part. When you go 2-2, do you go for it to win?
Yeah.
And then maybe leave yourself exposed at the back, maybe like a Brentford, where it can go against you? Or do you batten down the hatches, and if an opportunity comes, you try and take it, but you make sure you leave Stamford Bridge with a point? That's what I think Forest done well. They shut the shop up, they got a point, and they travelled back to Nottingham with that point, because you know what, Dave, you're right. You never know how valuable that point can be, but it's proved valuable because it's moved you a couple of places from the bottom 3. So
Leicester scored. Liverpool scored. Liverpool scored. People just confirm. Liverpool. It's 3-0 Liverpool. Just to tell everyone that.
Kevin, the way I look at it is there's a context to the last 3 away games. So Liverpool, Brentford, and this one. And what has changed, I think with Forest, there's been a settling down. It seems like it's coalescing. Sadly, it's taken a couple of months too late for it to happen. But we all went to Liverpool. It was an incredible experience. But we all went there expecting to get a good hiding. And actually, Forest played some really good football with very little possession. And so if you look at Liverpool 3-2, you look at Brentford 2-1, and then you look at this one, we've taken 1 from those available 9. But, you know, we could have got, I think we could, if we'd have managed the game better in that last 10 minutes of Brentford, that would have been 4. And if we, you know, if we'd have taken the chances on, I think we could have got 7.
4, Dave.
I'm just getting greedy, Kev.
No, because you know what, Dave? 3 points, you're safe.
Yeah.
3 extra points, Forest are safe.
Yeah, absolutely, mate.
I think there's 2. I think there's 2 points to pick up on there, Dave. The first one is that I think we've missed Taiwo tremendously.
Yeah, we have.
He's got 4 goals in 2 games. His second goal against Southampton was fantastic. Centre forward, where he rolled his ball.
Kev, have you scored one? Have you scored one of the goals before? Have you scored one of them?
I've scored them all.
I've seen him. I've seen him score
in football terms, I'm as old as Methuselah, mate. Don't worry, I've scored them all.
Check his Wikipedia page, too.
Yeah, check it. You find it all there.
Well, if we had VAR them days, I don't think Campbell would have any goals them days.
Oh, listen to this guy. Listen, I'm a guy who wins his own flick on and gets the flick on his scores, mate.
We're not Reading. Is that Reading?
Yeah.
Malcolm, what was saying, Malcolm? Carry on.
So, not only do I think we missed Taiwo since he went off injured against Southampton in January, and that's 3 months where we could have probably done with him, because we've looked more balanced with him playing up front.
Yes.
We've looked a better team. Yatesy coming back in, and again, people are either a fan or a hater. Personally, I think he brings an awful lot to the team. But I think next season, if Steve Cooper, and I please pray that Steve Cooper is still our manager next season, these are the games that Steve Cooper learns from. And that's where he learns about his game management. And this is where he goes, right, this is what we need to do. Because he hasn't had that. We talked about it in the last show after Brentford. You know, he hasn't had a director of football to guide him, to help him, to give him that experience this season. So he's been learning on the job. And it's taken us all this time to work out what our best team is. But we are looking cohesive now. So next 2 games are going to be tough, really tough. Arsenal have got a point to prove. And I think we'll either sneak it 1-0 or we'll get battered because they'll have a point to prove. And Palace, last day of the season, we've got a pretty good record there. But I jokingly said to you at the start of the season, though, if we go to Palace and we need points, imagine going to Palace and needing a point to stay up. And I was only joking. I mean, we went out with Kev last April for dinner. Kev and Woney, Daresy, and all of us went out. And Kev and Woney were going 17th. You've just got to take 17th. It's just the 3 worst teams to do it. And we're going 17th. We'll be all right. We won't do that. And now we're going, please take 17th.
Oh, people in the comments, where do you think Forest will finish? That's the most important thing. We'll see that. I'll say the panel later on. Where do you think Forest will finish? But like I said, there's still 2 games to go. We've got Arsenal and Crystal Palace, but that's another show. Hey, like I said, Mark mentioned about Ryan Yates. That midfield 3, like we've been to every game and we always complain about the midfield. We always lose that midfield battle every single time. Now we've got Danilo, we've got Mangala, and Ryan Yates is back. It's good to see like a steady midfield now, isn't it?
It is, Ben. It's nice to see that door has stopped revolving, you know, and we've tried so many different combinations. I mean, the thing is, you have just merely sort of 2 months to prepare for the toughest division in the world after you win at Wembley. Then you throw some bodies at it, which had to be done. And the narratives have annoyed me that it was Forest being somehow vain and, you know, throwing their weight about it was necessary. Steve Cooper is not the sort of guy to put forward that idea, you know. So it was always going to take time. I do feel it is coming together. My big issue, I before these last few games, the Brighton game and the Southampton game, I thought the only game this season where Forest were a dominant midfield was, funnily enough, given what's happening tonight, was Liverpool at the City Ground back in October, I think it was, where we actually dominated Liverpool's midfield. You know, in the time it's taken to get to this, to me, a slightly more settled period, we tried all manner of combinations. But I just think now, and I can't tell you why, I couldn't write it down on a piece of paper. I couldn't offer you logic. It's just a sort of a feeling that lies down there in the gut. I've run football teams myself, and sometimes you happen on a formula where you kind of think, oh, that feels right. Why does it feel right? I don't know. It just does. Our forwards, you know, with Taiwo now and Morgan and Brennan being used, how Brennan's being used feels nice. We're seeing, you know, to me, more cohesion in our back line. And in our midfield, I really do feel that Ryan, Orrell, and my little favourite from Sao Paulo, right, they just feel right together. And I think, as Malcolm has alluded to, and he's bang on, it has taken us a long time, but I just feel, and I've seen some other podcasts saying exactly the same thing, so I'm kind of parroting and plagiarising, but it just seems like the pieces are beginning in the jigsaw are beginning to fit. I just hope it isn't, you know, too late. But I still feel that whatever happens after these 2 games, and Kev makes great points about Arsenal, right? I've been thinking about Arsenal, and what I will refuse to do is get ahead of myself and believe something is done before the actual activity has taken place. We cannot do that. My view on Arsenal is, when I looked at it, my first thought about Arsenal is, wow, they've overachieved. They've been fantastic, Arsenal, right? That's my first point. My second point is, and I looked at Brighton and Hove Albion to give context for Arsenal yesterday, and there's nothing like a heavy defeat at home to focus the collective and individual mind, is there? Everton did not help Arsenal yesterday because Everton focused Brighton's mind before they went to the Emirates. And I think, knowing Mikel Arteta and having seen the documentary and knowing, you know, what he's like and how meticulous he is, he will say to them, you lost there 1-0 in the FA Cup last year. Do you remember me losing my temper in the changing room? You lost there 3 or 4 years ago in the FA Cup when they were a championship side down near the bottom. He will see this as a bogey he wants to lay. And I think any Nottingham Forest person, player, supporter, coaching staff, administrator, you name it, program seller, whatever, going into this match thinking, yeah, we're all right, might be in for a rude awakening. I think our fixtures are the hardest of us, Everton and Leeds, and we talked about this. So I think I would actually rather play Arsenal if they'd beaten Brighton. I really would. I think they won't want to be ambushed a second time, and it's going to be incredibly difficult for Nottingham Forest at Saturday tea time. So, you know, the good thing is that we do feel more settled. I think we're the most together spiritually and psychologically of the 5 at the bottom. You know, I mean, for a guy to put 30 guys together like that, what an empath Steve Cooper is. to be able to understand each individual, to get them to be a unit. 30 of them. It's an astonishing achievement. You know what I mean? I believe he's had the hardest job in football this year. So that we're at this point is credit to him and credit to the players. And I was 17th all along. You know, I remember Villa doing it, and look where they are now. Brighton did it. Look where they are now. Brentford had a struggle, but look where they are doing. And the word that Kev used, the best word is platform upon which to progress. So we've a lot of work to do, and I'm not getting ahead of myself, and I don't think anybody else should, you know.
Do you echo what it says, Kev? What Dave says?
Listen, I said 17th at the start of the season, and that wasn't no disrespect. That was with respect, not disrespect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Forest,
absolutely.
you know, I love the club. I love the fact that you got promotion. I love the fact that you're trying to work it out on the fly because you don't know.
Yeah.
You know, you've been such a long, 20 odd years since you've been in the top flight, and you have to work it out. Pleased that you've worked it out, and you had a good spell where you kind of moved up, and you're thinking, "Oh, we've cracked it." But the Premier League would pull the rug from underneath you and you go down that trap door. I think Nottingham Forest are going to stay up. I said 17th at the start of the season. I think 16th or 17th. I think Forest will finish, but I think it will go to the last game. I really think it will go to the last game. Again, Dave's right. Arsenal are going to be like a wounded animal because, you know, losing at home like that, the end of your title run, which nobody saw Arsenal going for, but Mikel Arteta has done such a really good job with this squad. He's not going to want to go out like that. He's not going to want to go, you know, suffer 2 defeats or whatever. So I think Arsenal are going to be coming to try and take Forest's scalp on Saturday. And rightfully so. You want Arsenal to come for that. So, you know, there's going to be spaces. But, again, Nottingham Forest at home. If Forest win, Forest is safe. It's that simple. So it should be a tough game. I know the atmosphere is going to be great because Forest will make noise and the Arsenal away fans will make a lot of noise. It's one of those old, you know, nostalgia games, isn't it? From way back when, you know, Forest Arsenal at the City Ground. But I honestly do think Forest will stay up. I really do. I think the platform's there. I think the manager's there. I think you got the ownership who's happy to invest in the squad. I think Forest are primed to stay up and then build.
Yeah.
I'm loving that. People, if you can do a massive favour, please do hit the like button if you can. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Malcolm, like I said, Arsenal, massive game on it. And like I said, what Kevin and Dave said, this game, if we win this, we stay up. It's so important this Saturday. Like I said, it's been a rock and roll season for all of us watching the game, watching us in it, boy. It's going to be a great atmosphere on Saturday, isn't it?
It's going to be an amazing atmosphere. I saw a thing on Facebook today on Sporting Bible that Man U had been voted the best atmosphere in the Premier League, and I was just laughing my head off because because there's at least 3 better atmospheres that I know of.
Yeah, there are.
No, wait. I do disagree, Mark. Man U fans was all right though away.
Away from home, they've been loud away from home, but at home,
okay. Home.
So I think this City Ground is going to be loud. It's going to be intimidating. I think some of the younger Arsenal players might feel the pressure and might feel that it might just be too much for them. I don't know. What I will say is when we played them at the Emirates, they took us apart. They played really well. I mean,
they were brilliant.
We weren't brilliant that day, but they were exceptional.
Yeah.
And I am nervous. I'm not going to lie.
He was nervous when he was next to me for the last 10 minutes. He was nervous.
But you're a different team now, Malcolm.
We are, yes.
You're a different team now. You've adjusted to the Premier League now, which is a good thing.
I think the thing as well, Kev. Sorry, Dave.
Go on, Malcolm.
The thing as well is we've got this little lad from the slums of Brazil in midfield.
Danny Lowe.
He's just a genius with the
You know what? I was
football.
about to say Danilo as well. Carry on.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, he was linked with Arsenal for such a
He
long
was.
time.
Are you not
He
having
was.
it? You're not having it.
He was. So
Potsy never fails to remind me.
So I think we've got the ability to do it because we're so together.
Yes.
At no point this season has the crowd turned on Steve Cooper. At no point this season have we been toxic and turned on the team, despite some obvious upset at certain performances.
Mhm.
So I think the crowd has got to be the 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th man on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
And I think what helps us is we'll know what Everton have done at Wolves. And I can see Everton going there and getting at least a point. I really can.
Yeah, me too.
2-2, something like that. And Everton might sneak all three. Then that puts us under real pressure because the last two games, Wolves, Bournemouth, they're not going to lose at home to Bournemouth. Absolutely no ways.
No.
Sean Darsh going to let that happen.
No.
And with Leeds, West Ham away, if they're in the Europa final, Leeds have got a good chance because West Ham are going to be resting players. And Spurs, you never know what you're going to get with Spurs on the last day of the season. I mean, Harry Kane might go and score 4 with it being his last. Oh, did I mean
Potential.
potential? That's the one.
Potentially his last game. Yeah.
Literally.
Tread careful, Malcolm. I tell you, tread careful.
Yeah.
Can I ask Kev a question? This is an Arsenal-based question, big man. Do you think that what happened yesterday afternoon, and some of ours have been saying, it might leave a mark. Do you think it will leave a mark? I mean, it will obviously be a motivation to put right what went on yesterday. But do you think there'll be a sense of deflation that they know that? I mean, mathematically, it's not over. I know it's unlikely, but it's not mathematically. They're not out of it.
Mathematically, it's not over, Dave. But what you got to understand is when you play for these type of clubs, you've got to respond. There's no time to wallow in self-pity.
Right.
The training's going to be right. There's only 2 games left. There's 2 games left to redeem your pride.
Yeah.
One's Nottingham Forest away. Respond. You've got to respond, boys. And Arsenal, you're second for a reason. At the moment, you're second best team in the league. So,
yes,
you have to finish strong, as strong as you can. And Arsenal are going to want to win the last 2 games. Forest know if Forest could get the job done, you're safe. So it should be a hell of a game, Dave.
It's a cup. It's a cup final, effectively, isn't it? Really,
it's a cup final. Yeah, it's a cup final.
So it's going to be like Malcolm says. I mean, the City ground is just going to. What we've done, Kev, and I remember you speaking early on in the season, mate, about how important home form was and how we needed to make it hostile. And I think, and I felt for those years when we weren't in the Premier League, Kevin, it was a case that you felt that away teams were coming to the City ground going, wow, the home of European champions. And it lifted the away team,
Yeah.
This season, what we've done, actually what we did throughout the championship, the promotion year last year, and I feel we've done this year, is we've weaponized that location.
That support, yeah.
Yeah, and so, I mean, I think we've got 34, so 27 of our 34 points have come there. And I think, it's been so good to see us using, and it's a proper old English football ground. And like we were talking about atmospheres, I would chuck in Goodison to be better than Old Trafford. I'd chuck in Ellen Road definitely to be better than Manchester United and Newcastle. So while our team are going to be either 16th or 17th, and I'm being partisan now, and forgive me my tribalism, but I do believe that our supporters are in the. Well, somebody said to me, where do you think they are? And I said, well, they're pretty good. They might even be in the top 1. Do you know what I mean? So.
No, but everybody mentions the City ground and the noise that's generated. Listen, as a player, I know what it's like when the crowd are behind the team. It's something special. So, again, this is a ground that a lot of players have never even heard of because a lot of the foreigners they've heard of Nottingham Forest but never played there. Now they get the chance to play there. It's like that's a proper good ground. You know what I mean? It's a proper stadium. I've got a question for you guys, right?
Come on, then, Kev.
And I'm going to start with Door on this one. Mr.
Why do I always get me, Kev?
Because
You
you've been
did
asking
before.
most of the questions. So
Okay.
I want you to ask this one. Was there any part of the season where you wobbled?
Definitely. I think you mentioned. I think what game was it? The Bournemouth game. We lost 3-2. I thought no, Leicester. Sorry, my fault.
Yeah.
Leicester game.
Leicester
That
away.
Leicester where we lost 4-0. That was the game I thought we're down because witnessing that, especially the first half, there was no fight. It was absolutely. I don't want to say the word bottle jobs if I'm allowed to say that. There was nothing in there, and as me and Malcolm went there to the game, and Dave, the fans was fantastic.
Amazing.
We're still behind Steve Cooper. We got after the full-time whistle, we're still singing the songs, but I thought he's gone. And I thought
But we kept him in his job that night. I really believe that.
Yeah, and I think again the game. What hurt me more, and it hurt Dave and Malcolm as well. The Brentford game, that hurt me more as well.
Yeah.
Because the last was fantastic. All 5 times we went there was fantastic for 75 minutes.
True.
And then the free kick, who can blame the defender, the wall, or Navas? I thought after that game we're down. Or even Aston Villa game, we lost 2-0.
Yeah.
That was I felt like, oh no, if we keep doing this, we're going down. But you've got to give credit to the team, especially Steve Cooper, because like I said, he's been under pressure since the first game of the season against Newcastle. And he's learning. And I've got to say, I don't want to change the subject. We've got to praise Mr. Marinakis as well, because he could have sacked
After
him.
Leicester, what did he do?
Gave him a new contract. So he could have said it. He could have. That game especially against Leicester, he could have gone. The Brentford and Aston Villa game, I thought the two-way games wasn't good at all. So I thought we was down then, but you've got to give credit to Steve Cooper and his team.
Yeah, Malcolm, what's your thoughts on? Did you wobble at any stage, mate? Were they the same moments?
Those two games, Kev, because Leicester were bottom of the league when we played them, and they were in a real bad run of form, and they didn't look good. And you look at their team, and they've got some real creativity. You know, Harvey Barnes, Dewsbury Hall, Maddison,
Tielemans, etc.
Yeah, Tielemans, all those guys. You know, and you look at them and you go, that's a really good team. But the goalkeeper's not very good, from what I hear. He's a bit suspect, and they're at the bottom of the league for some reason. We go there, Awani hits the post. 2 minutes, they go up the other end and they score. Then they score again. Then they score again, and we end up losing by 4. And we come away, and it was absolutely. I said to Dora, I said, he's gone. I was texting my mates going, he's going to go. He's going to get fired.
I remember that day. Me and Malcolm was walking down the street, and we were saying he's gone.
And then we put the radio on, coming back, listening to Radio Nottingham, and Steve Cooper was so full of confidence. I was like, he ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
But that game itself, the fact that, and then Leicester went on a run and they ended up 13th, 14th.
Yeah. That's right.
And then they dropped back down again, so it shows you what a horrible league it is. But Brentford away, I think that's the first time Ben's seen me angry. I mean, I was not happy. I was not angry at the team, not angry. I was just angry.
The situation.
Yes. We've let ourselves down for 80 minutes. We've controlled that game. Best away performance of the season. And people said, oh, we didn't play that well. Well, that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion. But I'm telling you, I've been to every away game this season, apart from one. And we controlled the game.
And this is the thing,
that lost 3 points to me. That could bite us on the backside at the end of the season.
So to put in, like, I praise Steve Cooper with his tactics and like his game management as well. But I just didn't think like the last 10 minutes of the Brentford game, it didn't work because I think the substitutions as well when Danilo got injured.
We played with 10 men.
Yeah.
You know, because we'd used the free chances to make substitution, and we'd made 3 singles.
Yeah.
So,
Dave, what about you, Dave? Were they the same games, or was there any other game that you maybe had a little wobble?
Well, for me, I absolutely love Steve Cooper. I think he's the sort of guy that Brian Clough would admire. I mean, I've spoken to somebody who actually worked with Brian. I'm very fortunate to know Alan Hill. I spoke to Alan.
Yeah, Hilly,
and
top guy. Top guy.
Yeah. He's a good friend of my father's, which I'm chuffed to say. And I spoke to Alan, and he said, yeah, Brian would love Steve for his courtesy, his decency, his diplomacy. He doesn't give an opposition anything to work with in terms of motivational words. So this is the best guy we've had for 23 years. I don't want him to go from our club. But that night at Leicester was very, very painful. But the Forest fans were magnificent last night and kept their man, myself, Ben, Malcolm included, we kept our man in his job. I then was okay until West Ham away. Which I
that game as well.
West Ham away when we lost 4-0. They were pretty much
struggling
going nowhere.
Time.
They were. And unfortunately, their one true world-class player showed his ability. Declan took control of the game. My wobbles then after that kept. I mean, the thing is, mate, emotionally, the lads will tell you, I'm so up and down. I'm honestly, I'm up and down like Fulham. You know what I mean? So the lads will tell you, Kev, I came out of Elland Road after we'd started so well, scored a beautiful goal and lost 2-1, and then the performance. Malcolm's absolutely right. The performance at Brentford was not a thing of beauty to look at, but it was a thing of substance. Mm-hmm. And for 80 minutes, Forest looked, to me, away from home for the first time in a long time, a comfortable, genuine Premier League team.
Yeah.
So that last 10 minutes when it kind of unraveled, and the thing with that is Steve made some decisions, players made some decisions, and posterity and hindsight were unbelievably cruel to them because they went awry. And the lads will tell you, we came back from Brentford in Malcolm's car, and I don't think, and this is quite an astonishing thing I'm going to tell you, Kev, I didn't speak for about 2 hours.
I don't believe it.
No.
I don't believe it. No chance.
Honestly, Kev, I was like a stroppy teenager who hadn't got an invite to the prom, Kev. I was dreadful, mate. And Leeds, from Leeds, we came out of Ellen Road, and I didn't speak until we got to Woodhall Services on the M1. And then it was only a milkshake that cheered me up. Do you know what I mean? So mate, to answer your question, I have wobbled. But the wobbling is part of the journey and part of the we're heavily emotionally invested, us three guys. We love our club. We love each other's company. We travel far and wide. And you kind of think it's just a football club and it's just football. But the meaning is massive.
Well, I've got a question for you, which I don't think any of you has been asked this season, right? So, and I'm going to go with Malcolm first on this one.
People in the comments, get involved.
People in the comment, here's a question for all of you. Is the Premier League, Malcolm, all it's cracked up to be?
Ooh.
That's a great question.
Oh, that's a good question.
He's been saving that up, Kev, hasn't he?
I've been saving it from the first podcast at the start of the season. And I know there's only a couple of games left, but you've been on the ride now. You've watched it from afar. Now Forest are in it, and there's still 2 games to go. Is the Premier League all it's cracked up to be?
Well, I've paid me 660 quid for next season.
But you would do that anyway, Malcolm. You would do that anyway.
I would do, but yes, I think the Premier League is. I thought the Championship was good fun, but I think it was good fun because we were doing really well. We're having some really good results, and we knew this season was going to be hard. But I tell you what, we've had some tough times and we've had some difficult times. But yes, Kev, I think the Premier League it seems very weighted. I'll tell you what I noticed on the first game of the season. I said to Dore, Newcastle players, very good at managing the officials. Mm-hmm. Very good at making the officials do what they wanted them to do. And the top 5, 6 teams, 7 teams are really good at talking to the officials and getting in the officials' ears. And I think it took us 15, 16 games to learn that before we started to do that. And it's that streetwise side of the Premier League that frustrated me to start with. But yes, that brand is all it's cracked up to be. Yes.
Okay, before we do, I got a super chat, and this is from, and I think he's got a special message. Thank you for the £5 special, Super Kevin Campbell. Legend. Thank
I
you
like
for
that. See, I'm all it's cracked up to be. There you go for coming on.
Right,
Dave,
this one.
Door. Dave, is the Premier League all it's cracked up to be for you?
Based, Kevin, on my absolute desperation for us to have some more of it, yes, it is cracked. Everything is cracked. I mean, we, like I said, it's context and the wider vista is what I think about. We had 23 years of craving it. Why would we only want it to be a 1 year thing?
1 year deal,
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you what hit me. I mean, last season we did have some wonderful times in some really lovely grounds at some great clubs last season in the Championship. But when you walk down towards St James's Park on a sunny day, wearing your red top in Newcastle, amongst one of the most welcoming fan bases in the world,
the ground is like a shrine, isn't it?
And then what you do, Kev, if you're a 58-year-old man-child like me, you attempt to run up the 140 stairs to the way end of the Leazes section.
You liar, Dave. You walked.
No, I walked the last 40, Ben, but I did run the first, and I didn't use the lift. I didn't use the lift, right?
Good,
and then and the thing is, Kev, what I've been doing, I've got a little laugh of you. This is really, I'm such a fanboy, honestly. Ticking off all the grounds that I've been to. I've got one left. I've got Selhurst Park left to do. And yeah, it is all it's cracked up to be. You kind of think, from the distance we were at for a while, you kind of think, oh, it's just smoke and mirrors and it's all flim flam. But it isn't. When you go to, recently, us lads, because we're kind of our own little family, and the fan base is a family, and the team's a family. Steve's brought all that together. You go to Anfield, and you see the whole of Anfield standing to you when you unfurl a banner in memory of the Hillsborough victims. A touch of class from us reciprocated. You go to Chelsea, you go to Tottenham, you go to all these amazing stadiums, and it's just the epic scale of it. It's like you're visiting the pyramids or the Seven Wonders, Yeah. And I think your point, Malcolm's point about our lads learning and Steve learning, they're learning so many tricks of the trade. I was on a pod last week, and they said to me, "Are you going down?" And I said, "I can't tell you. I'll tell you on May the 28th at 6:30, right?" And I'm not going to stick my neck out. But one thing I will guarantee, and is that Nottingham Forest Football Club, whatever happens, wherever they end up playing next season, will be a far, far better football club for this experience. Absolutely. If we go to the Championship, and that's still a possibility, then we will be strong in the Championship. The core of this team, I think, largely will stay together.
Yeah, if the worst were to happen, but you're not going down.
Yeah. No, and I think what I've learned now that I didn't know before was it's like when Sheffield United and Burnley got promotion. I mean, I was really happy for them, but I kind of thought,
I wasn't.
Well, I don't.
United, don't like.
Especially United.
The thing was, what they won a relegation dogfight, and I think with Forest looking in along this season. Our relegation, we were the first team into a relegation dogfight on May the 29th when we won at Wembley. We were into that relegation dogfight. Us, Bournemouth and Fulham. Because as newly promoted clubs, you're labelled straight away. Do you know what I mean? So I think what helps Forest now is they've always kind of had a mindset that this is the way it's going to be. Now, Leicester City have been used to success. Champions, FA Cup winners, Champions League quarter-final, European semi-final. West Ham have been sixth. Some of these teams have struggled to deal with not being as good as they have been. Forest are kind of was set from the get-go. And I just think that, 17th, if we finish 17th, I actually think it might be a better achievement than getting up last year because of the standard of the opposition you face every week and the environment, if you like, the competitive environment and the geographical environment. You know what I mean? So, it is all it's cracked up to be, and I want so much more of it, mate.
Love that. What about you, Dort? Sorry, go on, Malcolm.
Come on,
Dave. The Premier League's all it's cracked up to be because didn't Gary Neville sing "Happy Birthday" on Monday Night Football?
He did. Yeah, he did. I think he thought I was something like 78 rather than 59. But bless him, I was going to take it.
He sang it to you anyway, Dave. Don't worry about
that. He did get. And he was in tune as well. You know what I mean? So that was quite good.
That's a good thing. That's a good. Mr. Dore, is the Premier League all it's been cracked up to be? We've spoken last season. We stayed in touch during your Wembley visit, and now you've done the pod. You've been in the Premier League. You've had different fans from different teams on. You've been to most of the grounds now. There's only 2 games left, one at home, one away. Is it all it's cracked up to be for you?
Kevin, I've loved it. I've absolutely loved it because, as you know, Kev, I've done this for like 6 years, and this last 12 months doing this, being on big stuff like BBC, Sky Sports, and Malcolm knows I do stuff for the BBC as well. That's changed me as well. It's amazing. I've loved everything. Like going to new grounds. Like it was my first time going to Liverpool, Man U, the rest of the small clubs. No offense. I've loved it. I've loved it. Like I don't want to get relegated. Not the fact because I still want to go to Stoke City away. I still want to go back there no more. So I know Terry's pleased there, Kev. Sorry.
Yeah, but I know what you mean because you know what? Once you get used to dining at the top table, who wants to go to eating sandwiches at the vending machine? You don't, do you? You want to stay there, and you know what? I think Forest deserve it. I really do. I think Forest deserve it.
We deserve it, Kev, but we've just got to show that on the pitch, and that's what we've got to do. Because, like I said, me, Malcolm, and Dave, we've been to every away game, and let's be real, it's not been great. And the Chelsea game, I still feel like we should have won that game and that. But point, Leicester's lost this earlier on 3-0. There's still hope. But I don't want to keep relying on other teams. We've got to rely on Forest. Because I'm sick and tired. But I'm sick and tired. We want this team to win. No. Because, we have got the hardest running. Like, so we've got Arsenal, we've got Crystal Palace. We've got a good record at Crystal Palace. I know Zaha, he's out for the rest of the season now. So that's another good thing for us because he's a fantastic player.
Eze and Elise are still top draw.
Still top players. But
good players.
Question, Kev. Like I said, it's been a amazing journey for me being a Premier League content creator. I've loved it. Little banter with a few lot, but this week I've got quite Arsenal fans coming. Shout out to Curtis. He'll be there Friday doing my show.
You're gonna have plenty of fun with him.
But I've loved it, Kev. Loved it so much, man.
And the other thing is as well, Kev. Us lads, we've met supporters from other clubs. So obviously, with what Ben does, you know what I mean. I've ended. I mean, like before we started tonight. I've got a lad inviting me on an Arsenal channel this week. And these are people I've not even met in person. So I think Potsy's coming up this week to the match. Looking forward to meeting him.
Yeah.
And then I've met Leicester. Yeah. So I've been on Leicester City shows. And it's like, I'm just a bloke who lives on his own, looks after his mum and dad, doesn't really do anything special. And yet I keep getting invited. And it's like making friends.
Kev, it's more on YouTube more than me. This is embarrassing.
No, but you know what? And here's what I find. The Premier League is more of a family of fans and content creators. It's more connected than the Championship.
Yes.
Because the Premier League is a beast, isn't it? It's a huge beast that you have to integrate with. And you guys have been integrating very well. Though this channel has grown, you've had loads of different fans on, and it's been good content because you know what? Everybody is happy to speak and everybody respects Nottingham Forest. I'm sure you found that everywhere you've gone. Many clubs respect Nottingham Forest.
You know what it is, Kev? Like I said, especially with Nottingham Forest, I've got to give credit for them, especially Mr. Maranakis as well, because like I said, he knows who I am. And doing what I do for the club. It might be like if we're still in the bad days losing away, I'm still going to be positive, whatever people call me these days. But the club,
Kev, Malcolm said it when we walk around Stamford Bridge. You get to Stamford Bridge, and you kind of walk around. It's like a Roman wall where the old shed used to be. And my big brother there, Malcolm, he was walking next to me, and he said, "You know, Dave, look at this. It's global branding. We're part of this now," and it just kind of hits you. You almost feel like you've kind of joined an exclusive club. We're in the Premier League. We're part of it. Yeah. And I think that's just a really nice feeling. Whatever happens in these next 2 matches, and as supporters, we are fairly, apart from shouting a lot, we're fairly powerless to affect the result. So we have to kind of, take it. But it's still going to be special at the end of it. Whether we stay up or whether we go down, I'll still look at it and think that was a great time in my life, and it's just been brilliant to be part of it.
100%.
So will Forest stay up, guys? Come on, Dave. I know you want to sit on the fence.
I do.
I say, everyone in the chat, I say Forest are staying up. 16th or 17th, Forest are going to be fine. But the roller coaster is going to go to the last game, unfortunately. That's what I believe. Malcolm, Dave, Mr. Door.
I'm going last. Malcolm, you go
No,
first.
I want to go last.
Before we do,
Malcolm's been elected to go first.
Lenny, thank you for the £2. I do appreciate that. Much love for that.
Cheers, Lenny. Now, I've already gone first. I think Forest are going to stay up 16th or 17th. I think Forest need 3 points, and I believe Forest are going to beat Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. I think Arsenal are going to beat you at the City Ground, my opinion, and you're going to beat Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park, and you're going to stay up.
I'll go first.
Go on, Malcolm.
Malcolm, you go first, Malcolm. Go on.
I think Leicester are gone after tonight. In fact, I think they'd gone last week listening to Jamie Vardy on TalkSport. So I think that's Leicester and Southampton have gone. So it's between us, Everton and Leeds. Kev, you've always told me that Everton are too big to go down. And I would love them to stay up because of Dyche, Woney and Stoney. I'd love them to stay up.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yes, we're going to stay up, but I am worried. I am very concerned.
Hey, listen, you've only got 2 turns left on the roller coaster, mate, before it ends. So
I don't want to get off, though. I want to go.
No, I know. That's right. Go again.
Yeah,
Dave?
We'll stay up.
Oh, God. The big man is giving me confidence. When a guy who's done it and been there says it, that says to me, then I should fall in line. You know what I mean? Right. The thing is, though, Kev, there's a bit of me feels that tonight, right, before we came on, it was in a chat group, and I said at the time, Liverpool aren't giving much confidence that they're going to give us any help tonight. As soon as I put that message in there, Curtis Jones makes it 1-0, and then the guys are going, say it again, Dave. So I did say it again, and then Curtis Jones scored again. So yeah, so I almost feel, Kev, that using the reverse psychology. If I'm like you, in all seriousness, Kev, I'm like you. I think that Arsenal is going to be incredibly difficult on Saturday because of the quality of Arsenal and how they feel after what happened yesterday. I also think, Palace is going to be difficult. When I watched Elise drill a ball to Eberechi Eze, he kills it. He comes into a crowd of 4 players and smashes it in the top corner. Forest are going to have to work incredibly hard. But what I believe is that there's a feeling of popularity of Nottingham Forest amongst the other teams in this league. They like them in this league. They feel they have this rich tradition and the great fan base, which I think, as away supporters and because the City Ground, people want that again. I also think that they are, as we've alluded to before, the most close-knit of the teams at the bottom. And I think that there was a really good phrase I saw in an article where it said, I think it was we were coming back from Chelsea on Saturday, and it said along the lines of Forest's loyalty to Cooper close to its reward. And I think what I'd love is, I think if we are going to stay, people say Forest deserve to stay up because of what they've done. I think Steve deserves to stay up because he was given the most difficult task. I would love him to be the first, and I believe I'm right in saying this, the first Nottingham Forest manager for a long, long time to complete an entire season. I think that would be wonderful. And I think it would be, I think we will stay up, right? I'm going to err on this because Forest as an organisation and as a family, call it what you will, they stayed patient and they stayed loyal to the guy who put us in the best position we've been for 23 years. And I think that loyalty and that patience, establishing stability and continuity, and not, Southampton have gone through 3 managers, Leeds have gone through 3 managers, Everton have gone through a couple of managers. We've stayed true to our guy. And I just think that I'm a believer in a little bit in karma. Continuity. And I think we'll stay up. And my fervent dream is that on the 28th of May, when we leave Selhurst Park, whatever transport, Thank you, Steve, and well done to you, mate. And I think he will. I would love to give him. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we're staying up. We're staying up.
Dave.
But it's by the skin of our teeth, Kev.
Okay, Mr. Door, come on.
Before I do, I've got some super chats, Kev. I've got super chats. 86 pounds red.
He's putting off his answer, Kev.
I know. I can see he's thinking.
I've got £2. Thank you for the £2. And another one for Jordan. This is from Jordan. Thank you for the £5, Jordan. If Forest lose Saturday, I could do with this donation. I'm confident 2-0. No, we're gonna win. We're gonna win.
Here he goes.
Our home form is important. Let's keep it real. Our home form is
True.
Is good. We beat Brighton. Everyone thought we was going to lose to them. Don't get wrong, they was good, but second half was fantastic. Who else did we beat? Who did we beat for Brentford? Brighton at home.
Yeah.
Southampton beat Southampton 4-3. So home form is important. Arsenal are going to be aggressive because they've still got a chance, a slight chance, aren't they? Yeah, I think we can do it.
One big away victory is needed.
He's Kev won't have this business of Arsenal coming to
It's
us.
not that
Arsenal ain't coming to lose, I'll tell you.
Is it going to be like that?
That was me. That was me. That's going to be me for the whole 90 minutes. That's going to be me because let's keep it real. And Dave said this about that Crystal Palace team are still good without Zaha.
Yeah, and they'll want to give Roy a send off because of the wonderful job he's done there. Those young lads at Palace love him. I heard Eze took.
But here's the wonderful thing, Dave. They're safe.
No, it doesn't, Kev. It doesn't matter.
It does matter. And you've got to make it matter, you see?
Yeah,
This is the thing. Listen, if Forest win on Saturday, all bets are off. Forest are safe. But if Forest don't win, then you have to go there with the mindset, we've got to win this game. They're already safe.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to go there with that war mentality. So this is why I believe a big away result is going to be needed just to get you over the line. In the end, you might just need a point. Or
2 draws.
You know, or whatever. But that's just going to make the roller coaster ride even worse.
Good of me. Well, I'll say, I think we'll still end off. It's going to be, what is it? Could be a Chris Williams end.
Oh,
you even brought Bartman across, so there you go. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
Shout out to Bartman. He's not confident though, Casey. He's not confident. I spoke to him the other day. He's not confident.
No, he's not. But that's Bart for you. I'm the positive one. See, good cop, bad cop. He's a negative one. I'm the positive one. So
can I say though, Chris Bart Williams' mum is very confident. Edith, she says we'll stay up, so I believe her.
Hey, Mama Bart Williams, I'll believe her.
Yeah, great, fabulous lady. Yeah.
Yes. Oh man, it's been a great show. Thank you, Kevin, for taking your time out. He's been a busy body.
Welcome. You're welcome. Sophie sends her regards. Everyone.
Shout out to Sophie. Shout out to Sophie with the Hybrid Squad.
To you guys. Obviously, they look forward to Saturday, and maybe we'll get you over on the Hybrid Squad at some stage, Mr. Door.
Oh, please do. Sophie's
a
legend. You know what, Kev? I felt sorry for Sophie. I think it was that Man City fan that Sophie done well. She's on Sky Sports, I think.
Yeah.
I wasn't happy with that the way the guy spoke to her. But,
it was a bit derogatory. It was a bit derogatory. But
I didn't like that.
Listen, sometimes that's what confidence does.
Yes.
For some fans, they're just dismissive, kind of dismissive and stuff. But listen, when you're winning trophies and you're 4 titles out of 5, I suppose you can be that way, can't you?
100%. Right, it's been a great show, people. Like, so make sure everyone subscribes to Mr. Kevin Campbell Show Hybrid Squad. Shout out to Sophie as well. The legends, Dave. Malcolm's not a legend because he was annoying.
The coach is a legend. What are you talking about?
He drove us to Brentford and Chelsea. That'll do for me.
What is Kevin? When you're next to me, our away game, and he's like, especially Brentford away. He was the last 10 minutes. Malcolm's angry. Very angry, but he was
He was blazing. He was blazing.
Can I just say,
angry,
I hugged him at Chelsea and I had to stand on tiptoe to get my arms around his neck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
but like I said, it's been like everyone part of this legend. Like everyone, thank you very much for taking the time as well. The content is coming as well. I'm on quite a lot of Arsenal channels this week, so watch out for them.
So am I.
So,
Enjoy it, guys. Enjoy it.
I'll be on. Curtis Shaw will be with me on Friday, 9 o'clock. So watch out for that. And yeah, it's a massive weekend for us. But like I said, Casey, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me on, guys, and good to see you, Coach. Good to see you, Dave, and Mr. Store, and everybody in chat. You Reds, you know that. All the best.
You Reds.
You Reds. All right, peace and love, people, and up the forest.
Peace and love.